Awesome. Welcome, guys. We'll give it a minute here for everybody to jump on. I'm super excited about this live here. It's not very often we get to discuss and talk with people who are in our target markets and the people that we want to work with. And I'm super excited to bring on Dr. Brandt Green. Dr. Brandt Green worked with us for about a year. And recently he's actually started going down his own digital marketing path and looking and getting into things here. And he's still running his practice full time. He's still getting pitched by guys like this all day, every single day. So very excited to be able to dig into his brain. So we're going to be able to see it from both ends, you know, from what it's like to be pitched, but then also, you know, we're going to talk about his journey, what that's looked like as he's moved down this field. So Dr. Green, go ahead, introduce yourself, man, give us a little background.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm hoping to get as much out of this as anybody else watching. So just a quick background. So I'm a licensed chiropractor by trade, but I'm more of a black sheep chiropractor. I went through school and I was trained as a pre-physical therapy major, and I went through my undergrad. Ultimately, I got into chiropractic more for the professional benefits and the financial benefits compared to, you know, what physical therapists were making at the time, bigger scope of practice. Went to chiro school, almost quit just because I didn't agree with everything that was being said. But ultimately, I found a groove in an evidence-based approach, and then taking that route led me to start working with more chiropractors that were more evidence-based. And what the common thread was a lot of them were integrating their practices, and so they were, instead of just being a chiropractor, they were doing physical therapy. They were adding medical services in. And they were just trying to add other ancillary services into their practice to provide better care to their patients, instead of chastising or throwing rocks at the medical profession, but embrace the good parts of it. And so that integrated model really intrigued me. I got to work in a practice where it was successful, and so we brought that into our practice. For quite a while, you know, we were just doing, you know, chiropractic and rehab, and we were struggling. Marketing was all, every weekend we were doing an event. We were setting up a booth or a table, and we were going to the fairs, the festivals, the health fairs, trying to get into businesses and do talks. And literally every weekend for a year and a half, 2 years, we were just, we were busting a hump, and seven work days a week. But we got some momentum into the practice, but it was still hard to maintain because you had to keep doing the same type of marketing. When I figured out, all right, we've got to try something different. We've got to evolve our marketing based off of what we're being told, because in school and all the, you know, the gurus in the profession, they're telling you got to go do screenings, you got to do events, you got to educate, you got to do workshops. And so we did what we were told, and we were good at it, but it was still, again, it was a time suck. It wasn't reproducible. You can't scale it. We were trapped in our practice. It was a job, not a career, not a business. And so basically we're like, oh, we need to really dive into some more automated marketing. And so about 3 years in, I really started hammering, learning, teaching myself how to build websites and how to do SEO, and started playing around with Google AdWords. And ultimately, I took a website that was terrible, and a family friend built it, and I optimized the hell out of it, got it to page one Google, Google Maps, and so we got up there. But even then, still, like, it gives a lot of organic traffic, but we're waiting on people to come to us, and wanted to pick up steam a little faster. Long and short is we struggled. We almost ended up shutting down our practice, going bankrupt, and it just wasn't going well. And then we found the online, the digital marketing, and then we hired Dr. Todd, our mutual friend, and so we started working with him with integrated coaching. So he's a consultant of ours that you've run ads for, Nick, for a while. And Dr. Todd has been great, and ultimately he referred us to you. Automate our marketing. Automated online Facebook ads and funnels, which at the time I didn't really know much about, but Dr. Todd never led us wrong, and so I trusted him, and it worked really well. And so when we we brought you on. We worked with you and Lori, and you guys were fantastic. You guys were able to help us scale very quickly. And we went from, like I said, almost shutting down our doors to last year we did $1 million. This year we'll do quite a bit more than that in practice. We went from 6 staff members, I think. We had about 6 staff members when we started working with you. Right now we have about 22, and we just hired 2 more doctors, another nurse practitioner, a PTA, looking to hire another PT, and then all the support staff underneath it. And then in December, I was able to stop practicing. I was able to step out of practice and focus on the business, focus on marketing, focus on hiring professionals, focus on adding services and scaling, running it like a real business and not being, tied to the table, tied to the patients, tied to treating. So all that success and credit ultimately goes to the value of running successful marketing campaigns using Facebook and social media. So that's where we're at now. So ultimately that whole process got me more and more motivated to learn more about marketing and online. So I was actually at GrowthCon, 10X GrowthCon, the first one that Cardone put on down in Miami. I've been following that guy for a long time, and I think we've had conversations a long time ago about that. Mm-hmm. It was great, and that's where Russell Brunson ended up doing his little stage pitch and sold me ClickFunnels. I didn't even realize what was happening at the time. Bought it, didn't even use it or touch it forever. And then later on down the line, I figured out, okay, so this is how they're using Facebook ads, and this is where we're sending people to and how we're creating these offers. So went down that rabbit hole, and since then, just training, learning. And then since December of this past year, just basically committed full time to learning more of the Facebook ad strategy, marketing, building ads, copy, images, testing, and then the funnels. So that led me to starting a digital marketing agency, and now I
love it.
Transition more and more. I love my practice. We do great work. We get great results. We help a lot of people. But when it comes to my future, my family's future, and just being able to have a bigger impact, my brick and mortar practice is great, but I can't scale it nearly as fast as if I put that same energy and effort into, doing an online business where I can scale quickly, I can automate, I can outsource, and I can do it all from a computer. So that was the big push. So.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's such a great background and story. Guys, this is what can happen when this is what you can do for clients. You start learning about this thing, and like you mentioned, you almost shut down shop, and it, really elevated your practice so much so that you are now passionate about it and looking to help other practices, other people. So I love that. Couple things I takeaways from that is it's hilarious that even in chiropractic education, anyone who watched me long enough knows I have an extreme bone to pick with almost all traditional education, and that they're still talking about spinal screenings and shit like that. So before I go into the transition and everything, what I want to jump into and talk about, because what a lot of people I'm sure are really interested to hear is, what is it like to be pitched every single day? What is it that you would look for, in a marketing company in the past? Now, I understand that you got, you were referred to us with a consultant, but let's just talk a little bit about what it's like getting pitched every day, how annoyed it is. How often are you actually getting pitched? Are you getting emails multiple times a day? Is it per week? Just talk a little bit about what that's like to be on, the receiving end of, everyone goes after chiropractors. So, So what's that like?
I still haven't figured out. I think I know some of the reasons why everybody goes after chiropractors.
Funnels, man. That's why. And there's a couple really, really big course gurus who pitch chiros and dentists. It's because it's really easy to throw up that $21 campaign and go from there. Really quick note too. I just want to drop some value for you guys. He said something earlier that I'll let you guys know. Integrated medical clinics. Those are the types of chiropractors you want to work with. Just throwing that out there. Those are the guys with high cases. Those are the guys who can go in. Brandt, you were a rarity. You were the only client that we actually worked with in regards to the $21 funnel. We stopped selling that very quickly. because nobody could sell it. Nobody could have a sales process. You have to be good on the back end and selling. So that's when we moved to the integrated stuff. But back to what we were talking about, what's it like being on the receiving end of getting blasted all the time?
I mean, from the day we opened up our doors, there's always people either coming in the front door, and it's the local expert on SEO, the local Google expert, the local website expert, and then you get emails probably once a week from someone that got on your website and took your email and solicited you without permission. Or now it's funny, we're getting the Instagram. So, I do a lot of Instagram posts and hashtags, and I get people that are coming in and commenting on the post as, they're very innocent about doing it. And then as soon as you try to, you respond to them or say thank you or give them a response, they're trying to turn around and pitch you show their true colors, which for me is fun now, because I'm learning and I'm seeing what other people are doing, and some of it is creative and it sparks interest. If I weren't running my own ads for my own practice and running ads for other people, I would be, some of them would be maybe a little bit higher response. Or
I want to jump into that, because I bet people would love hearing about that. Because interesting ways of getting about things. When I got started, the interesting thing was sending straight up videos, custom videos to people and stuff like that. That still works to this day, by the way, guys. We teach it. We do it all the time. And Instagram DMing is something that I've been watching and seeing a lot of. I actually have some people on my sales team who use that very effectively. Something I'll share with you guys more in regards to that. I'm still waiting for some of the feedback and how scalable it is. But what would you say are the most interesting things? Because that's what people want to know about. People are already getting questions. What's the best way to email, cold call? So just talk a little bit about that, because I'd love to hear.
If you're talking about like a cold marketing, getting to any type of provider, a chiropractor, physical therapist, medical, especially integrated, it kind of depends on where they're at in their career, I would say too. If you've got someone that's been around for a while and they're well established, they've got, if their time is extremely valuable, you're going to have to probably go through their manager or their front desk, or you're going to have to navigate those waters to get to a decision maker. But if someone is early on in practice, if they're younger, if they're ambitious, they're eager, you've got a really high chance. So, I'd say one of the strategies you would want to consider using would be targeting people that are younger, coming out of school, because they're being told all of these things about how to grow their practice right out of school that aren't accurate, they can do it that way, but it's going to be a hell of a ride. So, getting these people that are coming out of school and they're opening up, they're putting up their name on a door, that would be a great place to start. Because I remember starting out in practice, we've got so many things we're already trying to figure out, like literally just the internal systems of running the practice. Marketing that's a headache. Like it's a lot. And so you add that on top. So if you can take that one extra headache off of someone's plate that's new into starting their own practice, and if you can show them that you can get them results with testimonial, or you can show them some social proof, that's going to be a much easier sell than trying to sell the guy that's been around for 10 years and has an established practice and he's being pitched all the time. It's going to be a lot harder to get to him. The Instagram thing I thought was pretty interesting. Again, having people come in on the posts and commenting and leaving feedback, and then they try to not necessarily do the direct message, but just in the feed. It made me interested, even as a marketer, like, oh, that could be effective, depending on who's watching the Instagram post too. So I manage my own Instagram for our practice, but I guess it depends on who's watching. I like videos as well are very good. If you can
I
get
want to talk about the Instagram one real quick, because that's interesting, and this is a new strategy. Instagram, guys, is between Instagram and YouTube. Those are the two, you know, open battlegrounds right now, in regards to marketing, reaching people, getting in front of people. I've been really watching Instagram. It's really exploding, and I love the idea, like I said, because you're seeing these comments, you're seeing the posts, you're getting direct access to them. So, guys, I think something that we can take away right now from this is start looking on Instagram, look for the hashtags, look for the chiropractors that are out there. But when you go to approach them, you can tell me what you think of this, Dr. Green, but go with the soft approach, right? Like, hey, you know, check out this video I made that talks about how we can, you know, sell a bunch of stuff. Hey, you interested? Just check this out, as opposed to being like, hey, when can we get on a call? You know, like, I'm a big believer in this time, this day and age, of showing some, like you said, testimonials, social proof, things like that. One thing that I always talk about and tell everybody, especially people who are in the private Crusader Nation group, is got to have one good video sales letter. You know, you've got to have something set up that explains who you are, why they should work with you, and positioned beautifully that explains your services. So that way you can use that everywhere. When people ask you for more information, when they're DMing people on Instagram posts, when you're sending LinkedIn messages, you've got to have something that you can relate to so that they can just watch it on their own accord, because it's much less spammy, much less pitchy. Now, how were these guys finding you? You said they were finding you through hashtags, or what was the process they had found you? What were they searching for in order to find you?
I'm not sure I'm not sure, honestly. I think more than likely they're getting on, you know, Facebook or Instagram or Google, and they're searching for, you know, the chiropractors or, you know, or healthcare provider clinics in the area. And then they're going on Instagram and trying to find them. And then ultimately they're commenting. And the reason why I think it's effective is if you're a business owner and if you know Instagram is a way that you can market to your potential, you know, patient base that's out there, you're trying to get leads. If I created a post on Instagram and I put it out there, what am I going to do? I'm going to be looking to see if people are commenting and liking and sharing it, right? So then as soon as I see a notification, you know, the little heart pops up, I want to tap and see what it is. And so I go to the post and I see a comment, and I can't help but not see it. Whereas when I see emails, just like anybody else, I glaze over them. I just delete them based off the headline alone.
Yep.
I know what it is.
I love that, man. And guys, everyone watching, just take note. All right. This is like thinking outside the box. This is new stuff. Instagram is not flooded like cold email is, things like that. Don't get me wrong, cold email works. It will most likely always work for, I mean, maybe not always, but you know what I mean? Cold email works. You should always have cold email campaigns. But LinkedIn, Instagram, the reason why I'm so hot on those platforms right now is because of exactly what you just said. We can get direct to the decision maker. Now, of course, sometimes you might have someone else managing it, right? But it's going to be seen. You know, half the time, you know, what, 70, 80% of our emails aren't even open. You know, and so they're going to be seen. So if you get creative with your messaging there, you get creative with your funnel, as we say, because ideally what you would do if you're going to do this, I'm kind of just thinking off the top of my head what will be best. You know, you push them to, like I said, a video sales letter, or push them to a blog article that might be, you know, helpful for you. Hey, I just saw this new technique. What do you think of this? You know, and just starting a conversation on there. Like, we've got to learn to start conversations with our prospects. And this is especially important when you're getting started and you've got more time than money. Right? Like once you've got more time than money, it's really important to be in places where you can have those one-on-one conversations and develop that. You know, that's why I also love LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's a gold mine right now. It's not quite overran by marketers yet. It will be. It's marketers are going to ruin that platform. Watch, but it's huge to be able to have those one-on-one conversations. It might not be super scalable, but again, when you're getting started, to get to that first 10K month, you really only need a couple clients, you know? So I love that you brought that up, man. So what other interesting methods or things you've been like, that you've seen that have captured your attention, which, by the way, welcome to the marketing world where you're going to look at every funnel in the world and just sign up for everything. I went through and cleaned out my inbox a couple days ago, and I had like just the most ridiculous newsletters because I opt into everything. I opt into doctor stuff. I look to see what they're doing. It's really important to see what's going on out there. But what other interesting stuff have you noticed?
All right. So, you know, obviously you get the traditional mail still. I get the There's direct mailers sometimes.
Direct mail. Guys, I got to interrupt you one more time. Direct mail works. This is another thing I always talk about and go over. Direct mail has made us at least hundreds of thousands of dollars in regards to recurring income, getting people out. Because guess what? If you see something crazy, do you read the mail? Does it get to you? Like, I mean, or does it ever get something? It gets.
Especially with business. If it's a business and you're sending it to the business, you know, at home, you know what the bills look like and the rest of it you throw away. In a business, you don't know what you're getting. So you have to, you know, make sure you're being diligent about going through your mail, because especially in healthcare, your mail could be, you're getting a check, or you could be getting, you know, you could be getting issued
$8,000 fines for freaking somebody screwing up your payroll. Yeah, I gotta read all my mail too, man. I get it. Yeah, I talk about direct mail often, guys. You're hearing it straight from a business owner. He gets it. 22 employees still over at the practice. He's still reading it. I think that's very interesting that you just brought that up as well, that you have, you know, HIPAA and medical, you know, by rules to worry about. So you've got to read everything because you can't let anything slip through. That's fascinating. I love that, because I talk about direct mail in conjunction with a cold email, a LinkedIn strategy all the time. So that's cool. I'm glad you brought that one up, because that's the only way anybody ever talks to my business partner. He doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't go anywhere, but he'll open the mail. So we get it, you know.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Any other interesting things there, and then we'll start to segue to, you know, what I know a lot of people will be interested in as well is, you know, some prospecting, marketing, getting started, some of that type of stuff.
You know, I don't know if this is what you're going to get into, but like for me, and I know especially a lot of people in my industry, like you said, everybody's trying to market to chiropractors specifically, and healthcare across the board. There's a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of money to be made marketing for those types of businesses, especially if you can scale them. But I think that the best thing by far is the same way that I started working with you, which is the word of mouth. And so if you can find one client and work with them and get them a result, if you can show them what you can do, it's not going to be that hard to create, you know, a video showing here's what we did for, you know, here's your social proof, and then plug it, you know, send it out there. You could throw it up on an ad, or you could just direct message it. So that's another one is Facebook Messenger. We get a lot of people trying to ping us through Facebook Messenger now, because again, if it goes to our practice messenger, we're expecting to be looking all the time for patients messaging us, and so you can't skip over it like you can with email. You're more likely to go through and read everything. So that'd be another one, Facebook Messenger. We have a bot in place now, so it kind of filters through some of it, but.
Yeah, and one thing that's working right now really good, guys, too, and this is just overall that I've seen, is actually sending quick video notes, videos of yourself through Facebook Messenger. So that one-on-one introduction with the, hey, how are you? I'd love to, you know, meet you, versus just a random texting, so you can connect with people. Also, guys, more than once now, he has talked about the importance of testimonials and case studies. You guys are gonna hear this till I'm blue in the face. Get testimonials, get video testimonials. I don't care if you have to pay for them. I don't care what you've got to do. If anybody's ever happy with your marketing, oh, great. How about this? I'll give you an extra $100 on your next campaign if you shoot me a video testimonial. Okay. Be okay with paying for them. Yes, you can get them for free too, but trust me, everyone lags. People, you know, they're busy. You know what I mean? Brandt, you know what it's like running a practice. You get busy. You forget to do that type of stuff. Yeah, you want to help the guys out who's helping you, but to make time, which by the way, we still have your testimonial video as well. You did shoot for us, but it's crucial and critical, guys, that you get these video testimonials, because you need to place them everywhere. I've just said it, but I'm going to say it again. He just brought up multiple times that that's what he's looking for, and I can guarantee that's what other business owners are looking for. That's why I'm willing to pay $200. I paid up to $400 to one guy who's a great client, but we've made him so much money. But he's always a wheeler and dealer. So as soon as he heard we pay for it, he's like, oh, I'll do it for $40. It's just insane. But it's been worth it so much more, because every time I add a new line of testimonial videos to my video sales page, my conversions increase. So I love that you brought that up. Also, guys, have a good referral program. Like, you must have a good referral program, whether that is a residual program that you're paying for people for the strategic partners. And another thing that I tell my team all the time, because we forget about this, everybody who's watching, Brandt, this is for you too, man. Like, don't ever forget this. It's this whenever anybody's ever happy, whenever if you get on a call with them and they're juiced, they're pumped. I don't care if it's the first week and they're just excited to see leads getting in. Perfect. Who else do you know? Who else do you know? Don't ask, do you know anyone? It's very important, guys. This is the law of sales, open-ended questions. Do not ask, do you know anyone? Say, who do you know? It triggers, it forces them to think. That little change is a big deal, I promise you guys. We'll talk more about open-ended questions on another video. Anytime anybody's happy, who do you know? I can guarantee everyone watching this, my team included, does not do that every time somebody's happy. And then I would offer to pay them. What we do, so in case anyone's wondering, is we offer to pay $500 one time to most of our guys. We'll say, we'll knock $500 off your next campaign, or we'll increase the ad budget $500. And they love it. Hey, do you want to hey, you're super happy. Do you want to get less? Do you want to spend less money or get more leads? You know, people then start thinking about it. How many people are in your network, right? How many people are in the network? I know chiropractors are like this too, but how many people are in the network?
I'm in the black sheep network, you know, like I said before, the chiropractors over here, and then I'm this little portion over here. But, you know, like you said, it is a tight-knit network. And then even just, you know, all the guys and girls I went to school with that I was on Facebook with, friends with throughout school, there's hundreds and hundreds of them out there that are on my feed, you know, my personal feed. So, yeah, it's if you can get in with one or two, and like you said, it's the same thing. It's funny you mentioned that. That's the same exact way we got. I think we have 145 5-star Google reviews for our clinic. The next person has 30, something like that.
Where are they going to go? And actually 30 is even really high, man, for a lot of people. But that makes a big difference, guys. I used to sleep on reviews. We've got, I think, 25 or 30, you know, 5-star reviews. We've got a couple. If anyone goes to look at our reviews, we have 2. Anyways, we fired a guy and he's tried to submarine us. It's fake stuff. We actually had a lawyer go look into it and find it because we were that curious about it because we couldn't find this guy. All right, we actually got some great questions here. So let's see here. Tim, this is a really good question. Now, because this is what we always want to know from our prospects. When you were going into a marketing campaign, right, what type of ROI are you looking for? What do you think is relevant? What kind of expectations did you have? And then if you could elaborate a little bit and talk about some people in your network. What are other people saying? What are they happy with in regards to the ROI?
So like for me personally, it's more of the initial cost, right? So for you guys that are watching, there's depending on the business or the industry that you're in, you know, your overhead and your margins can be much different across different industries. Healthcare, the margins are, you know, especially if it's someone that is running a high-end clinic, typically they're going to be working with insurance. So like a medical practice. And so the margins can be tight to some degree. So that's why it's important to scale, because you're getting paid based off of what insurance is going to pay you. You know, getting into the regenerative medicine and things like that, there's a lot of money there because of big ticket sales, and the overhead's relatively low comparatively. So when I'm looking at marketing, as far as budgeting, that initial ROI is basically got to, you know, it's probably got to be like 200%, you know, and not 200%. So like if I spend 30, 40 bucks, I can make back 100, I can profit 60, you know, standard margins. That's really good. If I can spend 60 bucks and make 100, you know, make 40 profit, that's still really good. The margins in
so 3 to 1,
35%.
What if you spent like 1,000? What would you? I mean, we're 3,000 back.
Yes, that's a good margin.
I love that. One thing you brought up here, guys, I want to talk about this because this is really important for everybody. I hope you guys are listening around. Drop some notes down here. We got some good questions. Let us know if you're listening, what we've got questions. But I will really want you guys to pay attention to this. Not all revenue is created equally, and you must understand that, okay? What he just talked about in regards to insurance and margins being smaller versus cash-based stuff, where the margins are higher. I know exactly what you're talking about because we work in this niche, right? just because you hear some things with $4,000 case value, for example, you need to start understanding, you need to start having these conversations and being a strategic partner with your client and talking about what does it take to fulfill that? You know, what is the reimbursements on that? What are the hard costs on that? You know, what does that look like? So I'm gonna use two examples right now. And Brandt, you'll be able to back me up. Tell me where I'm wrong. Every state's a little different with this, but there's a treatment called hyaluronic acid, which is basically it used to be really good reimbursements on knee injections, right? And there's usually three parts to hyaluronic acid injections. A lot of clinics run. They've got the injection, which now there's no real, which is typically about a $4,000 case value revenue-wise, but all the margins come from the knee brace for the most part, and then also the physical therapy side of things. They don't make any money on the injections because it costs $100 and they get $100 back. And I'm just kind of summarizing the Brandt with that. But the margins come from the knee brace, and then on top of that, it takes 3 to 5 injections, and it takes several weeks of physical therapy. Now you need to think about that when you're going into that. You've got to think about the employee costs, the overhead time, what it costs to pay the physical therapist, what the, you know, keeping the lights on looks like. That's all things that come into play here. So we hear $4,000 case. Now let's use another $4,000 case, which is a stem cell injection, right? A stem cell injection, typically, depending on where you're buying your stem cells for, $4,000 to $5,000. I'm just use $4,000 here. It typically costs anywhere from $800 to $1,600 for the injection. So we're looking at about 75–80% margins right there, and it's one injection that takes about 15 minutes. So instead of several weeks of process dealing with insurance reimbursements, all kinds of crazy shit, you've got one $4,000 thing that is significantly more attractive to medical offices than the other side is. Now, both can be good, and we have people who just kill it with hyaluronic acid because it's just a model, it's an easy close with insurance. It can be very good, as Brandt said. But I want you guys to start understanding that and getting to know your customers. Because guess what? I get on the phone with Brandt, and I start talking like that as a marketer, he's gonna be like, shit, this guy knows his stuff. He knows what's up, right? Am I wrong? Like, or how would you feel if I got on the phone and I get that specific with you in regards to treatments?
That was one of the things that made it easy to, you know, take Dr. Todd's recommendation, because you working with him, and I don't know, you know, who you worked to prior to him, but you were able to speak the language, which made a huge difference in confidence in me saying, all right, well, you know marketing, but so does this other guy. Why would I work with you? Well, you actually understand the industry that you're marketing for. And that's, I'd say, bar none across the board for you guys that want to go into, you know, marketing for chiropractors or healthcare or any niche at all. Know the industry that you're marketing for. Like, know their products, know their services, know their pains, know how they make their money, know their sales cycle. Like you said, for, you know, you talked about like the Sue parts, you know, knee injections. So it's funny, you're just talking about that. So I'm hanging on got my knee model right here. So we do well, but you're right. You know, we're doing a free consult for knee, right? So we bring them in. It costs us time. It costs us time to schedule them, my staff, and then it takes 15 minutes to sit down and talk with them. But, you know, that's not free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. That's costing us time and money to sit with them. And it's taking up an appointment that could be another person, you know. But like you said, the injections themselves that we're trying to sell, that's $800 in revenue for over 5 weeks. It's not that much money. And the cost per acquisition can be between $30 and $200, just what's going on. But the money is made when you plug them into the flywheel in our practice, and that's where you're knowing the business that you're going to be working for. If they have a good network of other services inside there, you know, called the value ladder, right?
Yep.
So the injections are just one piece of the value ladder we're trying to plug them into. We're trying to get them for the injections, and then, you know, if we can give them a brace, if we can get them over to rehab, and then we can upsell them on stem cells or regenerative medicine, or we can downsell them on, you know, something smaller or more simple, like, you know, a deep tissue laser package or something silly.
Yeah.
But the case value from that free consult that came in for the knee, but we can expand on it.
Yes.
For marketing for a clinic like that knows how to do that, that's a much bigger ROI versus if you're just doing the knee consult for just the knee injections. There's not as much value there, because if it costs you $200 to get them, plus the time and the manpower, and the reimbursement's $800 or $900, where's the value? Your profits are $100 over 5 weeks.
And that's where it's so big. I'm so glad that you talked about that, because that's something that I tell everyone to know. You've got to know your niche, and you niche down hard. And I love that you brought up this idea of cross-selling as well, and extracting as much value from the customer as possible. Obviously, we're going to do what's best for the customer and get them into good service because our reputation's on the line, right? But most people aren't thinking, most business owners, guys, they are not thinking about cross-selling. They don't understand. I can't tell you how many times we've had to go in and be like, dude, just because they didn't buy the stem cell, why didn't you get them into HA? Like, they had the insurance for that. Why didn't you get them into lasers? Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I thought the consult was for knee pain. It's like, dude, they're in pain. Help them. So, guys, these are the types of conversations I really want you paying attention to, because this is going to set you apart from the thousands, hundreds, millions, whatever of other marketers out there. You start positioning yourself as a true partner, as someone who's knowledgeable and knows the industry and niche that you're in, which, guys, there's Google can tell you a hell of a lot about an industry, right? And then the more conversations you have, you can get it, blah, blah. You really want to start positioning yourself as a revenue partner, because if you start teaching them about how to sell more and extract more from their patients in order to make more money, then you become known. Then you're even more of a consultant. You're like a business consultant to them. You're helping educate them. That's one thing I talk about all the time, and I talked about in our last live too. From the lead handling side of things, you got to be really diligent about teaching people how to handle leads, get things going on that angle. So I'm so glad you hit on some of those points, guys, or Brandt, because this stuff's so important of what he's talking about here. So for the next 15 minutes, before we wrap up here, man, I would love to share some of your experiences. Getting started into this digital marketing world. What that's been like, and then any questions you have, now is the time. Anything you've got, I'm sure our audience is interested in asking as well, and what that's been like for you for the transition.
It's been fun, and it's been motivating, but it's also been a lot of work, and it's been extremely humbling. It's very, very humbling. So, all the respect in the world to you and what you and your team have done, because to do what you're doing on your level, like, I can only imagine the effort that goes into it. And it's, to scale, you got to have systems, you got to have reproducibility, and you got to know your shit, and you got to stay ahead of the game. And that's one of the things I try to talk to about with when I do approach potential clients that I'm interested in working for, if they're asking me, is you can do this yourself. The information's out there. There's no shortage of information. It's just, do you have the time and the commitment to filter through it, and then to stay up on it, because it shifts and changes so fast. I started going deep down the rabbit hole in December, so 6 months ago? And I feel like I'm just now getting my bearings, and I'm putting 40 to 60, 80 hours a week into this.
Yeah, man, it takes tremendous amount of work. There's an epidemic of people out there, course gurus, we can say, who basically sell this as this is going to be the easiest thing in the world. I would never say that to anyone. You got to be ready to commit. You got to like what you're doing. You got to like the advertising. You got to like what you're looking to do, be really connected with your why. Can it be done? Absolutely. But at the beginning, it's just like anything else. Like, you've got to learn it. You've got to, really put in the time to become good. Like, what I always talk with people, and this is just more of kind of a side rant here, but there's so many people who want things to, be easy and this, that, and they get frustrated. And the first, step where things are hard, they quit and they give up, and what terrifies me is needing to work 40 hours a week for a job I hate for the next 50 years. So it's like, how could this be, how can we not want to put the work in order to learn this, in order to free ourselves from, the whatever society tries to tell us is how you have to do things. Look, there's nothing wrong with being an employee either. I'm not, nothing at all. And so that's what some people want. But when you want to get into this, you've got to really want it. You've got to be willing to put in the work. And you're doing that, and you're also overseeing a practice, man. I mean, what's that been like, balancing those two things?
Well, lucky for me, so you remember talking with Dr. Mary Beth, my wife. So
yeah.
we, part of the transition was I stepped off the floor, stopped treating, and then the plan was to continue to kind of help grow the practice again, interview the hires, help add in services, put the systems in place, and then market has always been, that's what I do. I'm the marketing guy, I'm the vision guy. I'm the entrepreneurial mindset. She has always been the manager. But ultimately we decided, let's step away. We've been working together for 5 or 6 years now. And as much as I love her, we don't work as well together now as we used to, just because there's so many moving parts. It was a good idea for us to separate our workspace for business and personal reasons. Best thing we ever did. And so now I work from home. I see my kids a little bit more. I've got my own space, and I have less distractions, but I'm still able to continue to market for my own practice, which this is where I'm really lucky, is I'm able to use myself as a guinea pig to market my services, my products, and then I can take that and I can go out and show it to other people like, hey, this is what I can do for you. And the reason why I know that is because I'm doing it myself, and here's the proof. Here's my numbers. Like, I don't mind opening up my books and saying, well, look, here's where we were, here's where we are now, here's my, how many patients we saw, here's what we invested, and this is the revenue generated from it. So that I'm creating my own social proof. So I'm a little fortunate there. But in all reality though, full transparency, I am just getting started in this. I've got so much to learn, and you've been great. And I've got, you kind of brought me in to Billie Jean's circle, and then I'm working with, ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson's team and the Two Comma Club X. So much good information out there, information overload, in fact. It's just breaking it into, digestible pieces. But I was able to, I've been putting content out there nonstop for my new business, my marketing, agency, and then I've got my practice. And there's a lot of crossover, so I'll post content for our practice, and then I can go ahead and take that and use it and push it out there and say, here's what you guys should be doing in your clinics. And what happened was, I had a colleague that I had talked to probably 2 or 3 years ago, and he reached out to me and said, hey, I see you guys you've stepped out of your practice and your practice is blowing up. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? And I told him, I'm marketing it. And then I started this this agency. And he's like, well, let's talk. So that started a conversation, a phone call. And then he had already referred me someone else. And I actually already started working with that client that he referred me with. And we actually have ads running. We've got a deal in, like, we've got a contract in place, and we're rolling it out. And then I've got the original guy, I've got his follow-up call tomorrow. A local, there's a guy I rolled jujitsu with for a long time, runs a martial arts gym right down the street. And he said, he messaged me on Facebook, hey, I see you're doing this marketing stuff, what's going on? So I started just having a conversation with him. And so basically what it comes down to is, I haven't done a whole lot of, I haven't run ads, marketing people. I haven't done any direct marketing. What I'm doing is just posting content. That's it. I post content on my personal page, and then I'll go ahead and share that on my business page, or vice versa. But I'm just constantly, actually, it works better if you post it on your business page and then share it on your personal. I'm just constantly just putting content out, and then I'm getting people messaging me, asking me, what are you doing? What's going on? And that's where all of our businesses come from so far. And I'm very confident that with these few clients, when I over deliver, and that's my goal, is just to over deliver the same way I treat my patients, I know that I'll never have to market again, because it'll just keep steamrolling into more referrals.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to go, man. That's awesome. One thing I'd recommend you do is, I know more information overload, more stuff to do, but I would start a group, man. I would start a chiropractic group, talk about marketing for chiropractors, led by a doctor. That's a big pull, and that'd be a great place for you to, train people, build networks, build connections, really leverage your network in there. I would highly recommend that, and looking into that. We can talk offline about some resources. They're quick. They can help you, get started with some of that stuff, but I would highly recommend that. And guys, I want to point out how well he's leveraging his network here. Like, I don't think anybody does it enough. Leverage their network. Ask, hey, who do you know? I know somebody. I'll give you $500 if you can connect me with, I don't care if it's you say it's freaking fucking flower shop, like whatever, like connect me with somebody. Nobody is reaching out to their network enough. And I understand. I think the fear for a lot of that is, especially when you're getting started, it's like, one, I don't know if I can produce results. And then the second one is really, you don't want to seem like an MLM pusher, because that's always what it seems like. But get over it, guys. Go send some text messages. Go send stuff right now. send it out, say, hey, who do you know? I'll give you $500 if you can help me close a patient. That's a great way to get started. And I love, your idea here with the referrals. I mean, it's really, really true that 1 or 2 strategic alliances can really, really explode you. Getting connected, actually, I think you know him. One of the huge catapulters for us getting started several years ago and really, really getting up was actually from Dr. Dan Kraus, who I think you know as well, because he's the one who initially connected us with Dr. Huey and Dr. Todd. And, they helped connect us, and we figured out a seminar model with them and blew up. So a lot of times, guys, you're like one strategic alliance, one person away from really being able to hit the market and go hard. But one thing you've got to ask for referrals, guys. You got to ask them, who do you know? Who do you know? Always ask them. So awesome, man. So for the last couple minutes here, any specific questions that you've got, anything you wanted to, chat about here that's been on your mind? I know we've been talking a bit, behind the scenes, but anything specifically you wanted to get while we're on here that maybe could be value for the people watching?
I guess one of the things that, because again, we're getting started and there's so many moving parts and we're trying to kind of put it all together. I'm curious as to how you strategize your week as far as, do you just kind of take what comes to you and prioritize it, or, is Monday you're doing you're checking your Facebook ads, Tuesday you're optimizing your funnels, Wednesday you're doing client acquisition follow up. So how does your week set up? Or, obviously it's probably going to be different now because you have a team around you.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it when it was just, low staff, just you and maybe 1 or 2 other people. How are you structuring your work week to be efficient? And then, so you weren't, constantly going back and forth between the little.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. And it's really been an evolution. I'm much more productive now, I feel like, than I was then, even though now it's like a burning fire 24/7, like you basically just put out fires everywhere and clients are mad, blah, 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 all that good stuff. How I structured it, man, was I would, so I was big into sales. So I hit the market really, really, really hard. We took one funnel and turned it into $100,000 a month business. Literally 1 ad and 1 landing page. And basically I would shoot videos and get prospect lists ready to go. Either at night or on the weekends. I would spend all weekend building videos. And then come Monday, I would send out all the videos between 9 and 11. And then I'd write my direct mail pieces and I would drop those in the mail because I used to write personally a ton of direct mail pieces and ship them out. I was fortunate. I had a partner, or I still have a partner. He's still here. We're doing great. Who would oversee and build some of the campaigns. So we did have that. We were also very quick to hire a VA that helped us. But my days at the beginning were wake up and sell. Tuesday, sell. Wednesday, sell shit. Thursday, I would also do a lot of funnel hacking, searching for Facebook ads, searching for that type of stuff, seeing what other people were doing. That was like basically my hobby and my downtime on my weekends. I didn't have a life or anything, except for this. So I would look for that. I was in a bit of a unique spot because it was sell every day. Now it's a lot more complicated because there's a lot more things involved. Typically what I do now is Monday is like, just paperwork day, BS day, meeting day, whatever. Get all the stuff out of the way. Because I spend Saturday and Sunday creating content and doing creative work and building our sales videos and really digging into our ads and planning our strategies. Because when I come in on Monday, it's really a lot of questions, a lot of managing, a lot of leading. But I typically do my paperwork and anything. I don't do a whole lot of creative work on Mondays usually. Come Tuesday, that's when I go on airplane mode on my phone. That's been a huge thing, as well as eliminating distractions so that I can shoot videos and plan for what we're going to be doing next. So my role right now is we generate inbound schedules all day for our sales guys. So I work with our Facebook traffic runner to shoot new videos, look for new funnel opportunities, create new funnels. So I write a lot of that stuff. I do all of our inbound ads. I don't run the traffic. I help design the funnels, set them up, and I shoot all the sales videos, right? So I start doing a lot of stuff Tuesday. And then come Wednesday, there's almost always Wednesday and Thursday are pretty heavy meeting days. Like we've got like high level department meetings. We've got planning meetings. We've got meetings where we've got to fix campaigns. We've got to look for new campaigns. And then Friday, I get back into the creative work side of things again. So that's kind of a rough outline of the week. Friday through Sunday, things quiet down. That's when I can really like implement, shoot my sales videos and really, dig in. Where are we going? What are we doing next? What do things look like? Wednesday, Thursday are always a mess with meetings and stuff. So that's a bit of it. And then I know I wasn't super clear to help you out at the beginning with the balancing, but the best thing I could say, man, is hire when you're at 70% capacity. That's what my mentor told me. And that John Logar, for those of you who know him, he's the man. And that's been a huge help for us. Hire at 70% capacity so you can continue focusing on the growth and actually like you're doing with your chiropractic, working on the business, right? So we hired a VA early. VAs should be hired quick. And then we also, we were fortunate, my business partner's brother moved out. He had just quit his job in Silicon Valley, hated living in the Bay Area, hated his job. And we gave him $700 a month in free rent. He came in and lived down in the basement with us. And so he helped me with a lot of sales prospecting stuff. And he's our full tech guy today and a huge part of the company and growth. But hiring is big. And then, yeah, I wasn't very good at time management back then. I have to be now or else I would never get anything done. So that's why it's not super clear. I only woke up every morning, how do I sell more shit? That was it.
Yeah. What do you think the percentages that so obviously you got to find and create content for clients versus
I create content for us.
You're creating content for you, right?
Yeah, so I don't do much for our client on side of things. I only come into our client. So we've got a team that handles the fulfillment, right? Does ads, make sure things are good. I come in to help when they can't, when they need an extra person. Because I'm obviously, the inbound ads, getting doctors to schedule is really difficult. It requires, very advanced ad strategies. It's really, it's not easy to do, right? So I only consult on ad campaigns that are really struggling, or if we need to come in and look and go in. Because we've really, what's been big for us is, and I would recommend everyone watching this buy this book right now. It's called Get a Grip by Gino Wickman. This book completely transformed our agency over the last 8 months in regards to how we run meetings, how we decipher who's in charge of what, and making sure that we can trust our roles and clearly defining the roles. And then also having trust in the people who need to fulfill on that. So, for example, I work on making sure that sales come in the door. And that's from A to Z. That's from the inbound process to get ads in and managing our traffic runner, managing our sales team, making sure that deals are being closed, being there for them. I don't have a whole lot to do on the fulfillment side of things anymore. I still know what's going on. We share an office for a reason, but I kind of stick my nose out of it so I can make sure that we're sales. So clearly defining those roles has been huge, and Get a Grip is an amazing book in regards to operations. You had brought up earlier, the difficulty in the scaling and everything there. It becomes very difficult to oversee and manage, 100+ campaigns running at any given time, right? Like that's not an easy thing to do. So we ignored operations for far too long last year, and it ended up biting us for a bit. So I would recommend everyone read this book and start paying attention to operations earlier. I was told to last May, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go sell shit. And we had some hiccups towards the end of last year, to say the least.
How do you guys manage? Is there specific software you guys use to manage that volume, or you just?
We have not found a software that we like with the way it's set up. We actually run sheets. So basically we've got sheets that have all of our campaigns listed on them. I have someone on my team go in every single day and calculate the accurate cost per lead because Facebook is always broken. It fires wrong all the time. So we've got a very complex process there with Google Sheets and going back and forth and updating. But it's been a game changer for us because I can quickly see, okay, what campaigns need help, what campaigns are going well, where are they at, so we can easily see what's good, bad, or ugly, and go through there. I will do a training at some point in this group on how we do that because it does become a bit of a headache at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can see taking on 10 clients that's a handful. And then when you get into that 3-figure,
what's that?
Handling over 100 different clients, ads, and campaigns, I can only imagine trying to manage my own.
And some really, really fun doctors at times. Oh boy. they can be nuts. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's been a growing process, and it's fun, and the confidence it develops from seeing that and being able to build the team and grow is awesome. And yeah, it's definitely very fulfilling at the end of the day to have something that you enjoy, that you built, that you like coming to.
Awesome, man.
Cool, man. Anything else here, Brad?
I had nothing particular. More of I know that you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing this?
So we've been doing the Facebook side of things for 2 years. So it wasn't that long after we'd gotten going that we had started working with you. I don't think I mentioned that at the time, but we knew it was up. I knew our niche immediately, and we produced the results, right?
Yeah.
My business partner, he's been in SEO and AdWords for quite a bit before that, but we've really been going hard at Facebook. Actually, literally 2 years this month.
That's awesome, man. And you guys scale it so fast. So
yeah, it went quick, man. I mean, we went from, once I discovered a Facebook model and started selling that, the first 10 months I was trying to sell SEO and AdWords, sold nothing. Nothing, sold no, kicked in the nuts. I hated SEO. I don't like it. Websites. Anyone watching, SEO is hugely important. It's powerful. It's good. But I really liked the direct response to the Facebook model. I'm a very let's go guy. And direct response was huge. Yeah, we pounded it hard, man. I mean, we went from 0 to 100K in 10 months.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was quite a ride. Still is right. It still is quite the ride. We're looking at we're almost at 300,000 this month, so we're pretty excited about that.
What's the one thing you're doing right now that you're getting out in front of that should be,
Yeah, we're starting a call floor.
Call floor, yeah. You talked about that.
Call floor. That's a huge one that we're getting in front of. We got in front of the lead handling that revolutionized our retention, but we want to take it next level. We've got some other plans in play with the floor. The lead handling, retention, things have gotten are good, really good if you set things up the way that, if you put a big importance on it. But yeah, the call floor is definitely something that is kind of just seeing ahead and kind of a bigger picture goal.
It's gonna be great for because a lot of times you get, like I said, with healthcare, margins can be tight, and then as you scale, as you know, it's hard to hire good people. It's really hard to find people to bring them in. So if I can go in and say, hey, I can run ads for you, and you don't even have to hire anybody else to manage them. I've got something in place already.
Yep.
That's another game changer. You're giving them less headaches.
Absolutely, and it's all on us too, And then there's two sides to it, right? I made a video for this, and I'll probably drop it in here too. It was in the private group, but the idea of owning the business, right? And we want to do it ethically, but we want to have our claws into everything so that if they decide to leave us, they're cut off, right? Yeah. We want to be the lead flow. I mean, and that's just smart business, right? It's what Apple does. I mean, think about how hard it would be to you lose your whole life if you switch from Apple to, Android, right? Like these companies do this all the time. Wow. We've had 3, it's the last day of the month, and I think that's 4 new deals in the last hour and a half coming from my sales guy at 6:30. He's got to get it. Anyways, sorry, we just got another one. But man, there was something I wanted to say on that right before we left. I don't remember.
Having your finger in the pie,
Oh yeah, owning the business. Yes, that's really important. And for all of you guys, I know a ton of you guys that see my marketing and I blow up your feed all day, every day. You're gonna see some new stuff coming out soon. That's gonna be pretty cool based around that. So I'm excited.
Very cool.
Cool. All right, Brandt. Well, I appreciate it, man. So great having you on. I'm sure this was a great call, man. I love hearing. There's so many things that you touched upon that I talk about a lot that were great. I'm sure we got a bunch of comments over here. We've had people stick with us the whole time, so got a lot of value here. Guys, put some likes on this if you're on replay. Let us know. Brandt's in the nation here. He's in the group. He's going to be working with us. Brandt, if you ever have questions, drop them in here. We're going to have a helpful community here. But man, I really appreciate your time, and I'm so glad we were able to reconnect at ClickFunnels, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to learning a ton from everybody else in the group. And if any of you guys that are watching or that come along and watch this, feel free to reach out, send me a message if you have questions or something specific. If I can help you, I'm happy to. If I don't know the answer, maybe we'll both learn something out of it.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much, Brandt. Everyone else, have a great time. We'll be back next Thursday night. I will let you know who the guest is going to be here at some point in the next couple of days, but we will be back. This is going to be every Thursday night at this time. So thank you guys, and we'll be back soon. Take care, Brandt.
Awesome, man. Take care, buddy.